Born in 1850 and have worked for the Browns for as long as I can remember. The Browns are part of the cottonocracy. They have 30 of us that work all day long in the cotton fields. Because I'm the youngest and my mom passed away, Mrs. Brown lets me work in the house for her. Most of the time I just help the maids. In a few days I'll be 11 and have to go to work in the fields with everyone else. After my birthday passed, I was off to work. The first day that I started, we had to do a cotton haul into Georgia. Every once in a while we passed some poor whites, and some looked worse off than me. I thought to myself that I should quit and refuse to work. But then all of a sudden, I saw a free black, and they inspired me to keep on going. Although the Browns didn't like to mention free blacks, I always remember them. Free blacks give me hope and make me want to fight for my freedom. The free blacks don't have all the rights the white people do, but at least they don't have to work for 13 hours a day. The cotton haul took a few days, but it was kind of fun. The Browns were excited that the cotton sold for so much. Slave codes govern all of the things that we can do. We can't have guns, we can't get in groups of 3 or more, and we can't even leave the Browns' house without a written pass. I'm not even allowed to learn to read and write. The only part that we like about the slave codes is that they protect us from the really terrible abuse. All of the slaves on the Browns farm were Christians, and we all believed in the teachings. Every other Sunday, a different white minister would come, and he would teach us about the Bible. As Sunday came around, I grew more and more anxious. Sundays, when the minister came, were always the best. The Browns gave us a few hours off of working in the fields, and we got to learn. On Saturdays, the people who had lived in Africa told us about our culture and the lives we led in Africa. Even though I'm not in Africa, I feel like I would love it. We are always taught to be respectful and mind our manners. Other than what we learned from the cotton fields, our culture, and the Bible, we don't get an education. The Browns don't want us to learn to read and write. They think that it'd be easier for us to run away if we could read train schedules. I wish that I could read books. It'd be so much easier to learn. My extended family is so nice, and we always work side by side. I have 2 aunts and 1 uncle. I also have 3 cousins that are about my age. All 4 of us would do anything for each other, and we are so close. All of my cousins are so lucky to know both of their parents, and they get to see them on a regular basis. My mom passed away when I was only 1 year old. My dad and sister were sold to a rich planter 50 miles upriver. My aunt will always tell me stories about him and say how funny my dad was. The only reason that I can go on every day is because of my extended family. All of us are so close, and we all love each other. After a few months of working in the field, my family and I had to start to be careful. For a few weeks, about 5 of the men in our little workforce had been resisting slavery. Resisting slavery started to get kind of big a few weeks ago, when some of the slaves on a big farm started to riot. All of my family has tried to stay out of it so that we can stay safe, but the Browns' farm is no longer safe. Tools and crops have both been disappearing, and the Browns were not happy. They had the police help find out who was doing this, but they couldn't. Some of us even started to run away, but most were eventually drugged back and punished. None of my family ever tried to escape because we knew we could stay together and make it to the north. The slave patrols were really good at what they did and caught a lot of slaves that tried to make the escape. It always took so much luck to make it, and only one person I ever knew made it to the north.